It was the kind of day where the crowd could feel the energy building in the air, like something big was about to happen. Arnold Schwarzenegger walked onto the stage, his presence commanding the room. He didn't say a word at first. Instead, he just stood there letting the crowd's applause roll over him. But even then, it wasn't the applause that had their attention. It was him. His sheer presence, the quiet intensity that seemed to radiate from him, made the air feel charged. Then with a grin, Arnold finally spoke. "I don't need you to clap for me," he said calmly. "I need you to listen." The crowd fell silent, everyone hanging on his every word. He wasn't here to tell them what they already knew. He was here to push them to be better, to go beyond what they thought was possible. "You know what it takes to succeed?" he asked, locking eyes with a few people in the front row. "It takes pain. It takes discipline. It takes never giving up no matter what." The words hit like a hammer. He wasn't speaking in grand, empty cliches. He was speaking from experience. Every word carried weight, a truth backed by years of struggle, failure, and triumph. "Listen, I know what it's like to face setbacks," he continued. "I know what it's like to be told you'll never make it. They told me I'd never make it in Hollywood. You can't act, you have an accent, you're too big, you'll never be a star. But I didn't listen. I didn't listen because I knew that success isn't handed to you, it's earned. One step at a time." There was a pause. He let it sink in. The audience could feel the power in his words. "And you think the road to success is easy?" Hell. No, it's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it, but not everyone has the guts to keep going when the world tells them to quit. When you fall, you get back up. When you're tired, you keep going. When you feel like you can't take another step, you take one more, and you keep going. His words cut through the noise of the crowd's expectations, reminding them of something important. Success isn't just about talent. It's about resilience. It's about the ability to keep moving forward when every fiber of your being wants to quit. Arnold's eyes scanned the room, seeing the doubt, the hesitation in some of their faces. "You're all here for a reason. You all have something inside of you that's capable of greatness, but you have to believe it first, you have to want it. Because if you don't want it more than anything else, then you won't get there." And, just like that, the room shifted. People sat straighter in their seats, gripping the edge of their chairs. They were no longer just listening to a speech, they were feeling it. Every word was a challenge. Every sentence was a call to action. "But here's the truth," Arnold said, leaning into the microphone. "No one is going to do it for you. Not your parents, not your friends, not anyone. You're in charge of your destiny. You make the choices. You decide if you want to keep going or give up. But I'll tell you this. The only way you fail is if you quit." And with that, Arnold paused again, letting the silence fill the room. The audience was speechless, caught in the truth of his words, the weight of his journey. They knew that what he was saying wasn't just motivational fluff. It was real, it was raw, and it was about to change them. The crowd was still in shock, processing the powerful message Arnold had just delivered. The silence hung in the air, thick with thought. People were shifting in their seats, some leaning forward, others nodding slowly as they absorbed the gravity of his words. Arnold took a slow breath, his gaze sweeping over the room, his eyes locked onto a few faces. "Now I know what you're thinking," he said, his voice softening just slightly. "You're thinking, this is all easier said than done. I hear you. I've been there. But you're wrong if you think it's too late or too hard or that you're not strong enough." He stepped forward, his stance confident, as if he was about to deliver the final blow. "Let me tell you something. The truth is, you will face obstacles, you will be knocked down, but the question is, what will you do when you're on the ground?" Arnold paused, letting the tension build. The room was still. He knew they were waiting for the next piece of wisdom. "When I first came to America, I had nothing. No money, no connections. Hell, I didn't even speak the language properly, but what I had was a vision. And that vision didn't come from anyone else. It came from inside me. It was a fire that wouldn't go out, no matter how hard life tried to snuff it out. He paused again, his voice gaining intensity. It wasn't easy. It wasn't a smooth ride. There were moments where I wanted to give up, but then I thought about something. If I gave up, I'd be the only one responsible for my failure, and I couldn't live with that. Arnold's eyes locked with one person in the front row. You think it's easy for me now? You think I just wake up and everything's perfect? No. But the difference is when I face setbacks, I don't let them define me. I define me. And so do you. The crowd felt the weight of his words like a punch to the gut. It was raw, personal, and incredibly motivating. But just when they thought they had heard it all, Arnold dropped the next bombshell. I've had people tell me I'll never make it in this business, that I'll never be a star, that I'll never win, that I'll never reach the top. But here I am, standing in front of you. And let me tell you this. No one can take that from you unless you let them. A few people in the crowd were already standing, applauding, but Arnold raised his hand to quiet them. You're not doing this for applause, you're doing this for yourself, and that's the most important thing. He then delivered his final message with the same quiet intensity. Don't wait for life to happen to you. Don't wait for someone to give you permission to chase your dreams. Go after them yourself. The road won't be easy, but if you want it bad enough, there's nothing, absolutely nothing, that can stop you. And with those words, the crowd was on their feet, cheering. Some were clapping, others shouting. Arnold had left them speechless, but not in the way they expected. He had shaken them awake, lit a fire inside their hearts that would last far beyond that room. As the room erupted with applause, Arnold stood there, soaking in the energy. But he wasn't done yet. There was one last thing he needed to share with them, something even more powerful than everything he had already said. The crowd's cheers began to fade as he raised his hand, signaling for silence. Let me tell you something that most people won't tell you, he began, his voice taking on a quieter, more serious tone. Success? It's not about what you have in the moment. It's about what you do when everything feels like it's falling apart. He paced slowly across the stage, each step calculated, each movement commanding attention. I've been at the top, and I've been at the bottom. There was a time when I was broke, when the world seemed to be against me, but I didn't quit. Why? Because I had a bigger reason for doing what I was doing. He paused, looking at the crowd. You think it's all about money, fame, or power? It's not. Those things will come and go. But what doesn't go away is your purpose, your passion, the reason you get up every day, even when everything tells you to stay down. Arnold's voice grew stronger as he spoke. When I started in bodybuilding, I didn't just want to win for myself. I wanted to prove to every single person who ever told me I couldn't make it that they were wrong. I wanted to show them that it wasn't about where you come from, what you look like, or what you don't have. It's about what you believe in your heart. And if you believe in it hard enough, nothing will stop you. He stopped walking and looked out at the audience. So, I'll ask you now, what's your reason? What's the thing that's going to make you keep going when the world tries to hold you back? Because I can promise you, if you find that, no matter what happens, you'll never fail. There was a deep, meaningful silence in the room now. Arnold let the words sink in before he gave them the final piece of advice. And when you're feeling at your lowest, when you think you can't go on anymore, remember this one thing. You're not alone. You are capable of more than you think, and you have everything inside you to get through the toughest battles. With a final glance around the room, he smiled. I didn't come here to make you feel good for an hour. I came here to change your life, so go out there and do something about it. The silence that followed his last words was deafening. Then, one by one, the audience rose to their feet. There was a standing ovation.